Hi. Ooh. It's gonna get freaky. It's open. Thank you. George, Jessica, move behind me. And Natsu, let's jump in at the same time and split up in different directions. If we just stand around after opening the door, those ice picks might fly right through the center. I agree. Ready? I really wish I could say no. I readied myself. If they're going to be throwing ice picks, I'll whack them with this candle stand. Go! And Natsui and I rammed into the door before flying into the parlor, quickly splitting up left and right and searching the parlor for someone who might be waiting for us. But what our eyes landed upon was an incredibly strange sight. The parlor was stained with blood. This place, where we spent almost the entire day, where we pressed in together to protect ourselves from some unknown malice, had been stained with fresh blood, had become an ocean of blood. On the floor lay Genji-san, Kumasawa-san, and Dr. Nanjo, with their entire body stained bright red with the blood. But the only way we could identify them was by their clothes. That was because... that's right. This is how the whole tragedy started. Their faces. Just like our smashed up parents in the shed, you couldn't tell where their eyes stopped and their noses began. It was as though they'd rudely plunged their faces into tomato pot pies, all squished up. And that wasn't all. Their bodies had other wounds. It was those demon ice picks. They were in Genji-sen's stomach, Dr. Nanjo's thigh. No, it was me, Dr. Nanjo. That's right. Of course it's his knee. In the epitaph, the 6th pilot was the stomach, and on the 7th pilot, the knee was gouged. So after seeing one of them stuck near Kumasawa Bachian's cap, I couldn't help but masochistically laugh. That's right. Oh. On the 6th pilot, gouge the stomach and kill. That's how it goes. Oh yeah, you're gonna massacre someone. But you gotta remember the details. On the 7th pilot, gouge the knee and kill. Or else you won't be able to figure out what they're planning. On the 8th pilot, gouge the leg and kill. Now even the 8th pilot is over. And the next one, the 9th pilot. What was it again? Maria was there. She was facing the wall in the inner part of the room, standing stock still, completely alone. She faced away from this horrible scene, standing by the wall, singing the song over and over. There was nothing else in the room. Just the corpses of the 3 who had been brutally killed, and the phone receiver, which was still off its hook, proving that this was the room the caller came from. So sat Maria, her back to the scene as she kept on singing while facing the wall. We couldn't even scream at this bizarre scene. We could only stare, shocked, with our mouths hanging loosely open. Maria? I don't even have words. Jessica called out to her, but Maria showed no reaction. Alone, she kept singing on and on. We had come here trying to save Maria from some approaching danger. So, now that we had found her, we should have been running up to Maria, hugging her, joyous that she was safe. And yet, not one of us could do that. Everyone thought it, but they couldn't say it. After all, because, that's right, even if that's crazy. No, it couldn't be. Maria, stop singing! Are you listening? At some point, Aunt Natsui and I had pointed our weapons at Maria's back. I yelled at Maria in a violent voice, but there was no reaction. She just kept singing. With the candle stand still ready, I ran up to her, forcefully, violently slammed my hand down on her shoulder. Then I pulled on her shoulder, forcing her to turn around. Maria's small body was quickly pulled down and fell. And as though unhappy at having her singing interrupted, Maria looked into my face with her usual expression. Even in this gruesome situation, she was just like normal. Maria, what is this? Who did it? I don't know. I want to know. I want to find the answer to this. It is so confusing. Oh, Beatrice! Cut that crap! I threw the candle stand I've been holding against the wall. So many people are dying! The violence of that reckless sound should have gone straight into Maria's heart. But Maria's expression didn't change at all. Quit it, Bauer. Maria Chen, this time you should have seen the face of the culprit who killed these three. Was the culprit the same Beatrice who gave you the letter? Beatrice! Well, in that case, it's certain. There is a 19th person. Beatrice does exist. Then, Maria, will you at least tell me this much? How did they kill these three people? What did they use to kill them in such a brutal way? I don't know. How could you not know? It happened in this room. Are you trying to tell me that you were so absorbed? Are you trying to tell me you were so absorbed in singing that you didn't notice? Calm down, Beatrice. Maria, talk to me. Today, George Niki, as he always did, crouched down next to Maria so that their eyes met and talked to her very kindly. Maria Chan, why were you facing the wall and singing? Beatrice said to face the wall and keep singing for a long time. So, did Beatrice come here? Were Genji-san and the rest still alive then? Everyone came into the parlor together and sat behind. Genji-san made sure to lock the door. It was locked when we got here. But then, how did Beatrice get into the parlor? Well, Beatrice is a witch, so locks don't matter. She turned into butterflies and came in through the crack in the door. Butterflies? Mom, Mom, we're joking at a time like this. Like heck that happened. What are you saying? You can't believe it? That's what I didn't want to say. No matter how I say it, you won't believe. But Beatrice is a witch. She can do anything with her miraculous magic. That's why Beatrice doesn't care whether a door is locked or not. And then, after Beatrice appeared, what happened to everyone? What I want to know. Beatrice talked to us. She said grandfather's study was protected by a powerful force. She couldn't enter no matter what she did. And she told us she'd select 3 sacrifices from the 4 people in the parlor. Everyone said, no way. So much laughing. People saw us and kept saying, no way, no way. But Beatrice chose. And when she did, Beatrice said I'd be fine. Why do you think? It's because of the scorpion charm with the 5th magic circle of Mars. The one battery used to pray for my safety. The one he put his feelings in. Because of that power, Beatrice couldn't do anything and me alone. So she decided to use the other 3 sacrifices. After that, Beatrice free. Come, face the wall and sing a song. We'll sing lots and lots of songs. No matter what happens, no matter what you hear, you won't hear, you won't know what. Come, sing lots of fun songs for me. So I was singing the whole time, over and over. So I didn't hear any, didn't know any. And then all that ooh makes me want to do a high voice, but then she talks normally and I'm like, oh, maybe that doesn't suit her. I don't know. I wonder what they would like her to sound like. Are you asking us to believe that? You think we're stupid? Then who will you suspect this time? Will you suspect me? You're gonna try killing me right here? Even if you do that, Beatrice won't stop existing. No, the 8th twilight is over. And Beatrice will revive! Are you serious? I've had enough of that talk. As if witches could exist, as if I let myself get tricked. I won't accept it. Beatrice doesn't exist. I definitely won't accept it. So I won't let her exist. I won't let her revive. The legend will remain a legend forever. I won't acknowledge something like that. Oh. Quit it, Valerie. It's not like Maria killed them or let them die. Beatrice came, and Maria had to obey. She was unable to resist. Huh. Aunt Natsui? She isn't here. What? Oh, where did she go? Just now she left by herself, reading a letter. A letter? That makes sense. The culprit must be so exhilarated now that we've reached the 8th twilight. They might have left a letter so that they could brag even more. We were so wrapped up in questioning Maria that we forgot to look for a letter. But even as well armed as she was, why had she left the room by herself in this dangerous mansion after reading it? Jessica tried to chase after her and tugged at the handle to the door. But it resisted strangely and wouldn't open. Mom! Wait, Mom! Mom! What's going on? Open up! Open up! It was only natural. Natsui had picked up the candlestand which Battle had thrown at the wall and which had fallen to the floor. She had then skillfully wedged it between the doorknobs and the double doors like a bolt, holding them closed. The intricate design of the candlestand caused it to get caught solidly, and it really did make a sturdy seal on the door. A tragic scream of a daughter for her mother. Did it reach Natsui's ears or not? All the violence. I'm losing it. Oh, okay. Alright then. Natsui's figure was alone in the entrance hall. It was the place decorated by the portrait of Beatrice. Natsui threw down Beatrice's last letter, the one she had read in the parlor, readied her rifle again, in a voice that rang clear, yelled in the massive space that was the entrance hall. I am Shiromaya Natsui, representative of the Shiromaya family. Show yourself, Golden Witch, Beatrice. The entrance hall was dimly lit. Other than a faint light which shone on the center of the room, everything was blotted out by the jet black darkness. The pretty butterflies. Why? Why do they have to be like this? I thought they were supposed to be pretty, but every time they show up, someone dies! In the darkness, butterflies glittering in gold squirmed, twinkled, and sneered. Natsui gave one more huge gulp and pointed the cold barrel of the gun at the gold butterflies. So you have finally shown yourself. I still can't believe that something like you really exists. But that isn't a problem. Both I, who bear the title of representative to the Shiromaya family, and you who claim to succeed the headship of the Shiromaya family, are here right now. At this point, whether you are a witch or not is a trivial matter. Come, let us settle this. Which of us will truly succeed the Shiromaya family? I, Shiromaya Natsui, or you, Beatrice? Allow me to respectfully accept your request for a duel. Oh. We're gonna fight. Oh my. The gold butterfly slowly formed a human shape, which walked into the dim light. Natsui readied the rifle and glared, finally going to see her. The witch raised her golden staff over her head and laughed. Natsui's finger slowly squeezed the trigger. And go! Battery made an all-out dash at the door and rammed into it, crushing the candle stand that had been guarding it and making it possible for a big gap to be opened in the door. He kept kicking the candle stand through that gap, and the door was finally released. Yikes. Shots fired. At that time, they heard it. They certainly heard the crisp sound of gunfire ring out once. Mom! Mom! Jessica Chin, you mustn't run off by yourself. I don't think I was like to scream. Was that the sound of a gun just now? Didn't Natsui shoot? And who? At the culprit. The noise had come from the entrance hall, and the entrance hall looked like a stage, like the heroine of a tragedy on the ground and bathed in light, arrayed in the beauty of that silence. And Natsui lay face up, crumpled on the floor. Half crazed, Jessica ran up to Aunt Natsui. On Aunt Natsui's forehead, it was almost as though a sparkling shard of pigeon blood ruby had been placed there. They already got all the sacrifices. Did she die too? And from it, one stream of blood makeup passed to her eye and began to traverse her face. The faint smell of gunpowder smoke came from the barrel of the rifle Aunt Natsui still grasped. Huh? Then she shot herself in the forehead? Ah! Why? Why? Mom! 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 That was more like my voice. Mom! Yeah! I don't get it. Why did Aunt Natsui run away alone? And why did she shoot through her own forehead? Maria-chan, Aunt Natsui left the room after reading a letter, right? There's no letter here. Darn, what did Aunt Natsui read? And why was she lured out here? Yeah. I don't know. Who cares about that? What? Why did she kill herself? Why did she leave me all alone? A little itchy. Ah! I don't know, okay. Jessica clung to her mother's corpse, crying earnestly. Oh my goodness. My body was consumed with an anger I didn't know what to do with, and I snatched the rifle from Aunt Natsui's hand. I spun around, pointing the barrel of the gun into the darkness on all sides, as though I was pointing a light from the lighthouse, trying to find the culprit. George Umineko, even in this situation, was trying to calmly figure something out, but that might have been a fruitless effort. And only Maria was completely indifferent. So is this all supposed to be some kind of predetermined fate? No, that's not it. This is all a prelude to a wonderful world. The doors to the golden line are finally open. On the ninth twilight, the witch shall revive, and none shall be left alive. And on the 10th twilight, at journey's end, you shall attain to the power of the Golden Land's treasures, once and for the last time. With this, everything is over. Congratulations. So lead me to the Golden Land you told me to. Right now. There, all the dead will be revived, and even lost blood will be restored. So, in Maria's eyes, it's just as though all of today's tragedies didn't happen. It's as though all the time she spent deprived of love never happened. Stop it! What's so fun? What's to be congratulated? There were 18 people on this island. 14 are dead. Only the 4 of us are left. I'm definitely not gonna die. Until the night is over. No, until the typhoon passes and the seagulls gather again at the harbor. I'm definitely not gonna die. I'll stay alive. I'll stay alive no matter what. Give it up now. Guns are useless against witches. Survival and all that stuff doesn't matter. Because it's over. The journey has already ended. See? Look at the clock. Huh? The clock? Hearing those words, I looked at my wristwatch. Both needles were almost touching near the top. Very soon, it will be 12 o'clock at night. In other words, 24 o'clock. And when you think about it, isn't 24 o'clock a strange time? It can be called 24 o'clock, and it can also be called 0 o'clock. It's the hour at the culmination of the previous day, and at the same time, it's hour 0 as the next day begins. Beatrice! Miri suddenly called out happily and ran towards the darkness. It was almost as though Beatrice was somewhere in that darkness, and Maria was running up to her. As Jessica hugged her mother's corpse, as George Umineko stood there, confused, I looked down the barrel of the rifle, gazing into the darkness. The space in front of Beatrice's portrait lay in that direction, and the thing Maria was running up to was the portrait's subject. You've got to be kidding me. This is just impossible. Like I'd fall for something like this. Wishes don't exist. I won't accept it. Something like you shouldn't exist, because this is a human world. You think I could accept something that's not human? I definitely won't accept it. When I pulled hard on the rifle's lever, the cartridge was ejected, fell on the floor, and a new cartridge was loaded. Then, I sighted the witch down the barrel. Maria turned around. Still clinging to the golden witch, she turned around. Didn't I tell you it was meaningless? Mere bullets are meaningless against Beatrice. Humans are so stupid, aren't they? I won't accept the existence of witches. Who are you? Just try moving one step. Just try moving one finger. I'll blast you away. As the witch... No, the witches laughed. Even the large clock in the hall joined in on their laughter. It was probably telling us that the time was 24 o'clock. It was both a tone telling us that we had reached the culmination of this day, and a tone informing us that all had returned to nothing. The rule that the witch would win when time ran out had already been revealed. Now, George, Nietzsche, and Jessica, the journey has ended, and the witch has arrived. And none shall be left alive. The witch shall praise the wise and bestow 4 treasures. One shall be all the gold from the golden land. One shall be the resurrection of all the dead souls. One shall be the resurrection of the love that was lost. One shall be to put the witch to sleep for all time. Sleep peacefully, my beloved witch, Beatrice. Just a picture. And now she's here. What the... the Golden Land. What even? So I guess I can look at the rest now. It's a good time for that. Well, that's it. Whoa, the storm picks. There's a little text. Whoa. What the? Okay, I guess I have to read that before it goes off the screen. The storm passed in the leaden clouds that enshrouded the island for so long cleared away. From the rest between the clouds, sun beams shone, and yesterday the storm seemed like a lie. Just as someone had wished, the seagulls returned to the harbor once again and let their lively cries be heard. Afterwards, the police came and conducted an investigation of the scene. That's a lot of text right there. The corpses of the children, who were thought to have survived until the very end, were never found. However, how? Hi. Okay, because of the body parts I'm reading. That were discovered and unimaginably gruesome nature of the scene, the police were forced to conclude that the chances of survival for any of the 18, even the children, seemed hopelessly dim. Oh man, just how gruesome was the banquet of the witch, just how beautiful was the Golden Land. They were the only ones who got to hear that tale. No tales were told to this news. Yes, Mom? Oh, hi. Arrived after the plot was over. The best they could do was imagine what might have happened during those 2 days. Hi. Yes. Thanks for the food. However, the witch was fickle. She made a point of completely behind this tale, which didn't need to be heard, and it was allowed to spread. I just kept food in the middle of it. And many years later, a strange wine bottle that had drifted on waves the pier of the neighboring island was pulled out by a fisherman. Inside it was a thin, tightly wrote notebook fragment written upon in crumpled small letters. Written there was this tale. Through this notebook fragment, people will finally learn the truth of the mysterious and riddle-filled 2-day period that started on October 4th, 1986. The incident was later called by many names, such as the Rockin' Team and mass murders of the 18 killed. I can't read the name more. I give up. It's going. Okay. Yeah. That's so much to take in. The credits are just here. If you want to read it, you can go. You can probably just rewind. Look, it's a lot of information. Jeez. Would I be able to look at the? No, I can't. Oh man. I did my best. Okay, but it's kind of moving. I can't read moving text. That was funny. The gold. What? 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 Legend of the Golden Witch resolved. What the? Oh, so now it says all the stuff here? Bro. Whoa. Right. I can't believe that all happened. What? He's just so confused and abandoned all of it. I might as well read this. Why not? The witch will praise the wise and should bestow 4 treasures in the golden room. There they chose to revive the souls of the dead and the love that has been lost. After all, no matter how large a mountain of gold they might have desired, it would have been out of her grasp. George chose his lost fiancée. Jessica chose the voyage she had liked and once. Maria chose the lost lover of her mother. Sleep peacefully, Beatrice. Let nothing disturb your slumber ever again. The winner is the Golden Witch, Beatrice. Time ran out before even one of the 18 people could solve the riddle of the gold. All 18 died, and the seagulls cried, and none were left alive. None. It's just done. None of them could solve the riddle? Okay. Alright, now I don't know what's going on. This is... Let's dig in. Whoa! She prepared a gift? That's crazy. We don't know fruit. Oh! What gift are you talking about? Whoa! Tea party. Huh. I guess that was all of episode 1. Alright, might as well see what this is then. I'll check what time it is. Yeah. Alright, hold on. I'll take a little intermission. So that's all of that. Okay. I'm ready to see what's next now. Intermission over. So, the tea party. I do have a little bit I could look at now. First, so... I'm just gonna go see that. Episode 1. Oh, no, not that. That's all I need to do. No. Gotta cast a spell. Whoa. Oh, so this is what happens when you've already played the thing. Do you know how I just need to exit out this. Alright. I guess it doesn't let you until you've actually started. That's fine with me. What I wanted to do was look at a thing that I saw before. Pile back. You get... So as you're reading the story, I'll just load the last save I made. I don't know if this means anything, but I saw something here. It's just at the top. All these, so I clicked out of big characters. Yeah, so it shows that. And then there's a thing called tips. You have the portrait epitaph. I might as well read that. Behold the Sweetfish River running through my beloved hometown. You who seek the Golden Land, follow its path downstream in search of the key. As you travel down it, you will see a village. In that village, look for the shore two will tell you of. What the two will tell you of. There sleeps the key to the Golden Land. Okay. The one who obtains the key must then travel to the Golden Land in accordance with these rules. On the first twilight, yeah, that's just the stuff right here. The plan. 6 chosen. Those remain shall tear apart. Those remain. Gouge. So many gouges. The witch shall revive. Journey's end. Oh man. So then you get the treasure after that. Then this one says the witch shall praise the wise and bestow 4 treasures. Yeah, she gives the things that she said before. Then this one says the witch's letter. That's the one that Uh, Maria said the first time the music played. I remember it. Right, so this is just, I guess, the letters you get? Right. I think all of that was read already. Witch's letter says praise my name, and then this one says, are you enjoying it? Oh, yeah. So these are the letters you got. You got it. Now I would do it. I just wanted to be sure I was understanding it. Okay, tea party. I'll jump right into it, buddy. What is this? I need to know. Purgatorio. What? Okay. Oh my goodness. Now you're breaking the fourth wall. Hey everyone, congrats on finishing Umineko no Nakukuru. Man, I still didn't have a clue what was going on with the story. So, just what happened? Was that basically the bad ending, where time runs out before the culprit gets exposed? Bad ending. Dang it. Definitely a bad ending. That's right. Why? Yeah, I will. I can't hear anything my mom says with these loud headphones on. It just makes for awkward moments. That's right. Beatrice's letter, which Maria Chen read on the first day, did tell us in advance to solve the riddle of the epitaph. We were also busy trying to protect ourselves and look for the culprit that we didn't even take a shot at it. Bad ending! That's right. If we had actually tried to solve the riddle, maybe things would have ended differently. Tried to solve the riddle? I wonder about that. Shan, you did a good job too. You don't have to be our waitress and serve tea. After all, this is a rap party. There's a group of people who met a horrible fate. Let's all get along and lick each other's wounds. Lick. Speaking of a horrible fate, Chen beats the rest of us hands down, doesn't she? She was such a beautiful character, so I thought she'd definitely survive until the very end. But she was killed right in the beginning, and on top of that, what was it? Half of her face was smashed, right? That's the worst. That was my role, so there was no way around it. Misen, it's nothing for you to worry about. Judging by the last epilogue, even Milady and the rest of them met an extremely tragic end. It seems so. I think I remember seeing that horrible picture, kind of like my entire body had been eaten apart and dismembered. Speaking of which, don't you think Kanan's last moments were the coolest? Yeah, even though the tables turned on him, it was a showdown with the culprit, right? Still pretty awesome. It's a whole bunch better than our confusing last moments, right? And our confusing last moments, right? It's a whole bunch better than our confusing last moments, right? Definitely. Though, in the end, I was unable to get a solid hit in. Still, I think Kanan's death was a big hit. After all, because of that, the existence of the 19th person was made clear. That's right. At that time, everyone's location was obvious, so it was impossible for anyone other than some unknown 19th person to kill Kanan. I said it was Beatrice from the beginning, over and over. I don't want to believe it, but that does prove the culprit was a witch calling herself Beatrice. That's right. There were many strange things that happened that a human couldn't do. Only a witch could do things like murdering anyone in that closed room. A human couldn't do it. Not only is the existence of a 19th person clear, but it's also obvious that this person holds a power that humans can't even imagine. In that case, I don't think there's anything wrong with calling this person Beatrice. We probably met at the very end. Met with the Golden Witch. Like I kept saying, Beatrice exists. It all went bad because no one ever believed. How do I make them believe? Even one of her rich friends said that miracles won't occur if you don't believe. Gerd. That's right. Beatrice-sama is generous to those who respect her. It seems to me that Maria-sama was never a target of Beatrice-sama's wrath up to the very end, despite the horrible crimes that occurred one after another. Well, Maria believed in Beatrice from the very beginning. But if that's the case, how do you explain why you and the rest were all killed? You guys believe in Beatrice just as much, right? I don't know. Beatrice-sama probably had her reasons. I can't even do the voices right now. The song of the epitaph represented Beatrice Sama's resurrection ceremony. Many sacrifices were needed. He must simply have been designated to be one of those. Shannon, you met a horrible end. At the very least, I wish your death could have been more peaceful and pretty. Well, it's not like it hurt. Anyway, right now, I'm perfectly fine, so don't worry. After seeing him stroke Shannon's cheek, which had been crushed during the story, everyone laughed aloud, smiling. Well, it feels a bit weird saying this, but I was sure this story would fit into the standard mystery genre. I'm a bit surprised to find out that it's a fantasy. After all, the Western Mansion set away from the outside world on an isolated island with an inheritance problem on everyone's minds. It sounds just like a typical mystery novel to me. Whew. It's not fantasy. Beatrice exists! Whew. Yes, we understand. Beatrice Sama does exist. Bruh. Just bruh. That's right. Beatrice Sama does exist. I hate to admit it, but I've got no choice. Because it's obvious that a 19th person, a witch, was involved. Many things happened that would be impossible for humans. During the story, we tried to deny that in all sorts of ways. But now, I can say it for sure. Each crime, every single one, would have been impossible for a human. They'd be impossible to carry out unless it was the witch Beatrice using all the power magic could provide. All the power magic could provide. The culprit was a witch. That point's perfectly clear. Long live Beatrice. Everyone believes. I'm so glad. Gods and witches might seem terrifying to people who are frightened of them, but I think they must be affectionate to those who believe in and respect them. I think you're right. So, this murder case game is finally over. Now's the time to pull ourselves together and try hard to solve the riddle of the epitaph, just like Beatrice said, right? I agree. Beatrice will definitely be happy. Everyone ignored that letter during the story. Even though it was thrust right in front of us, we almost completely ignored it. I kind of feel sorry for Beatrice Sama. I've got the epitaph written right down here. Right here. Let's all solve it. Let's all solve it. The story probably went wrong ever since that time. That may be so. Maybe we should have tried solving the epitaph's riddle from the beginning, like Beatrice said. Well, it's a little late now. Even so, let's try solving it now and see if the witch forgives us. Let's go. Let's try to solve the riddle of the epitaph. It was something like, "Behold the sweet fish river running through my beloved hometown." Maria put her notebook on the table and opened to the page where the epitaph was written. Everyone stared at it, getting really into it as they started guessing this and that about the riddle. Surrounded by the smell of black tea and freshly baked vanilla cookies, they spent the time comfortably and happily. Yeah, you did. Hold on a second, you guys. The battler spoke in a way that cut through the conversation. His expression looked a little unhappy. What could you not like about all of this fun? I've been listening to you guys for a while, but why did you all stop thinking? Why are you so sure that the witch was behind all this? Don't you realize something like that can't exist? Yeah, with just those words, the happy atmosphere surrounding the tea party evaporated in an instant. George and Jessica, and Shannon and Kenan, and Maria. All of them stared blankly, wondering what in the world Battler was talking about. Even the foolish, arrogant Battler realized that he hadn't chosen his words well. Ugh. Because, isn't it clear that these crimes were impossible for a human? That's right. None of the cases would have been possible for a human. That's true. After all, wasn't it full of things that humans couldn't explain? I don't understand what you're saying. Oh my goodness, I can't even read. I don't understand what you're saying, Battler-san. I'm the one who doesn't have a clue what you guys are talking about. Isn't it obvious that humans committed these crimes? There's no way something like a witch exists, right? Then, what about when I was killed in the storehouse and something horrible was done to half of my face? If the culprit was human, how could they have accomplished it? Well, it's hard to imagine how they did something that awful. But that was the Rose Garden storehouse, right? I'm sure there are plenty of weird tools in there. Let's say they used some electrical tool like a grinder or an electric saw. What? That's, then, Battler, how do you explain Grandfather's disappearance from the study when it was a closed room? Even though the door was sealed, Grandfather just suddenly disappeared, right? We talked about that during the story too. It's not impossible that Grandfather used some trick to fool the receipts. It's also possible that he went down the window. Wait, it's also possible that he went out the window, fell down, and Aunt Natsuki locked the window from the inside. I could think of a bunch of tricks you could use without relying on magic. That makes sense, but in that case, Batward, how do you explain the way my parents were killed in the guest room? The door was sealed by the lock and the chain. He just doesn't want to believe, man. Naturally, the window was sealed, too. How do you think a human could have killed my parents? Well, we did have to leave that trick alone during the story. Anyway, there's at least a good chance the culprit had a key, and it was possible to look in through the crack of the door that the chain allowed. I know this is a stretch, but it's possible some device was used through that crack. Like maybe they stuck something through it? Well, even though a door chain is incredibly simple, it's a big factor in setting up a closed room. Still, there's probably some closed room trick they could have used. If you bought some closed room mystery novels from the bookstore, you could probably find some trick that'd fit perfectly. Probably. I can't think of one now. Anyway, I can't think of one now, but I claim that there's nothing humans can't do if they try hard enough. Isn't that argument horribly irrational? It's just ridiculous to claim that it's possible for a human to do something, even though you can't explain how. Why is that ridiculous? Why did all of you stop thinking? Even something that looks impossible has to be doable. Doesn't it always work like that? Battler, you're the one being ridiculous. You're the one being ridiculous. If you think a human could have done it, try explaining how. You can't, can you? And you are okay with saying the culprit is a witch just because I can't explain it? With that argument, all the unsolved crimes in the world could be resolved by saying a witch is the culprit. Badwer, you're sidestepping the issue, and you aren't explaining anything. We're saying a human couldn't have done it. Therefore, the culprit is something that isn't human. And that something is a witch. And yet you keep arbitrarily deciding that witches are impossible, even though you can't explain anything. It's almost like humanity was during the Dark Ages. Like those fools who claimed the heavens spun around the earth. Those who said that the earth couldn't be spinning, even though they couldn't explain why. That kind of argument kind of annoys me. So, this is basically what you're trying to say. If I can't explain how a human could do it, then I must accept that the culprit is a witch. It's not like we're forcing you to go that far. We were just wondering on what basis you can say such nonsense. Nonsense? Hey, have I really been saying something that weird just now? Am I the one who's crazy? You guys are really starting to freak me out. Bad-Sama. When I died in the boiler room, I was killed by a 19th person who shouldn't exist. Can you explain how a human could have done that? At that time, the locations of the 18 were well known. Even so, I was killed. I think it's San and then Sama. San-sama. I do not want to say Sama or San. San-sama. We talked about that in the story as well, right? Kumasawa Bachan, for example. She said she followed right after you and headed down to the boiler room, but we can't know for sure whether that was a lie or not. For all we know, she might have entered the boiler room with you and caught you by surprise. Or maybe when you stepped into Or maybe when you stepped into the boiler room, you activated some kind of trap, one that might have been set up to hit you with one of those ice picks. Yeah, with one of those ice picks. After all, the stink of Grandfather's body was coming from the incinerator. Someone was bound to go and check, so if the culprit just set up a trap beforehand, they could easily have stayed away from that place and used the time of Kanankun's death to create an alibi. You talk about a trap in the boiler room, but what kind of trap could that be? That's right. Following his death, everyone immediately ran over to the boiler room. But we didn't find any kind of weird device, did we? That is correct. Bad-Sama. What kind of trap could I have been killed with? Well, I don't know that. But anyway, they must have used some kind of clever trap, or maybe someone's lying. Or what about this? Kanan-kun, what if the whole thing was just you play acting? That's it, you were play acting! Aunt Eva and Uncle Hideyoshi were also play acting. They made the closed room themselves, and were only pretending to be dead. Bruh. Badwer, has your head been Feeling okay? Should I bring in some cold drinks? I'm so lost. Don't look at me with those pitying eyes. I'm not saying something that crazy, right? I'm just pointing out some possibilities you might find if you think of it all as a trick. Look, isn't it a pretty classic trick in mystery stories to have one of the victims just be playing dead? Are you just baiting us right now? Like, you're trying to think that it was a witch? You're trying to make us think that it was not a witch that killed him when it really was? A classic trick? In other words, when Kanan-kun was killed, we know for sure where all the rest of us were, or his baddie or a genius, and he's figuring this out with 200 IQ. And let's assume that Kurosawa Bachan wasn't lying. But that's only counting the survivors. What if the culprit pretended to be dead and joined a group of real victims so we'd lose track of them, and then acted on their own later? Everything would be explained. Huh? So are you trying to say that Aunt Eva or one of the others was the culprit? But didn't Dr. Nanjo confirm all their deaths as a doctor? That's right. Dr. Nanjo checked all of the victims. Madoru-sama, for your theory to work, wouldn't Dr. Nanjo have to be one of the culprits too? Yeah, that's right. Once you consider that Dr. Nanjo might have been one of the culprits and faked the proclamation of death, the whole story changes. See, that's also a classic trick in mystery novels, isn't it? But Dr. Nanjo was also killed, right? About that. That's right, Dr. Nanjo faked his death. After all, there wasn't anyone except Dr. Nanjo who could examine corpses properly, and everyone was really confused then anyway. Bruh. Did anyone die for real? What is happening? We didn't have any spare time to check and see if he still had a pulse. With his theory, and any one of the dead people could have been walking around. He's just doubting everything right now. I think it would have been tired. I think it would have been hard for the six of us. I think it would have been hard for the 6 of us who died in the beginning to do that. After all, the shutter was closed, and there was a padlock that couldn't have been opened from the inside. That's right. Mom was holding on to that key. So was Mom one of the culprits too? Wait a sec. Maybe it was impossible for the first 6, but in the case of Aniki's parents, the door was only locked on the outside. So they could have opened it from the inside. That's right. After we left the room, maybe they jumped out of the window. And caught through the boiler room first. What? Is that too much of a stretch? Or maybe Dr. Nanjo made a mistake when examining the corpses. Look, he said it himself, right? He said there's a very high probability of making a mistake when examining corpses. If you disguised it well enough or prepared a substitute body, you could fake your own death. Let's leave the method or trick they use for later. And you see, it's not that hard to deny a 19th person existed, right? Much less a witch, right? At least that much is completely impossible. Yeah. I don't know why you've been trying so stubbornly to say that one of us is the culprit. In other words, you want to suspect one of your relatives? That's not it. It's just, I can't easily accept that a 19th person existed, and even if one did, I think we should construct our argument from the point of view that the culprit was a human. I'll only accept that it's a witch in desperation, at the very end, after everything else has been disproved. There's no way witches exist, right? Why is everyone casually accepting that the culprit was a witch? I think it's great how your family love makes you hate the thought that someone close to you is a murderer. But is it okay to let that fool you? Don't you want to find the detestable culprit who killed so many people? Aniki, don't you want to Aniki, don't you want to avenge your parents? Jessica, don't you want to avenge Kanan-kun? And Kanan-kun, don't you want to avenge Shannon-chan? Shannon-chan, you should at least want to know how it was that killed you. Shannon-chan, you should at least want to know who it was that killed you. Why has everyone totally surrendered and decided that the culprit was a witch? What's wrong with all of you? The foolish and short-tempered battler tried to force his ignorance on the others and yelled at them. However, everyone just looked at him pityingly, silently watching him. At that time, the wise Maria laughed and pointed out Battler's mistake. Okay. I'm shocked. All I see is you repeating this nonsense, thinking you figured something out, Battler. So, what's next? How would a human do it? In practical terms, I mean. I imagine you'll say, I just can't think of anything now. Or with some kind of device, using abstract words to run away and evade the topic. What I really want to know, Battler, is this. Why don't you believe in Beatrice? She exists, so why don't you believe? Because she doesn't exist. Witches don't exist. There's no way. It was almost like a spoiled child who just doesn't want to accept something. The pitying gazes quietly closed in around Battle, but they didn't reach his stubborn heart. You realize that you're acting just like a spoiled brat during the tantrum, right? Battle, son. I understand your feelings, but Beatrice does exist. Battle Raccoon, why don't you believe? Even though there's so much proof. I don't accept the argument that the witch must have been behind everything just because I can't explain it. Does this mean that if you don't know how to how to light bulb? Does this mean that if you don't know how a light bulb shines, then the magic is the cause? That's wrong, isn't it? There's nothing that can't be explained without magic. All of this about witches and magic is just abdication of thought. You just surrendered and gave up because you don't understand what happened. Isn't that right? Well, unsurprisingly, it looks like you alone won't believe no matter what, Battle. If even a single person doesn't believe, the miracle won't occur. So, if you don't rethink your ignorant theories, the miracle, the magic won't be completed. Now I see. I finally figured it out. So, in other words, you guys are trying to force me to say the witch exists, right? A lie that everyone accepts becomes the truth. Is that what this is all about? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I keep going on about this, but what you're doing is all useless. I refuse. You guys are all pressing me, and that's why it's all useless. Why? Sorry, but why don't you let me spin the chessboard around one last time? If you want to force me to accept that there's a witch, there's a really easy way. And it's not that indirect way of saying, it must be a witch because humans couldn't have done it. All you have to do is show me a witch doing it with magic. Furthermore, what Maria said earlier is what will really dig her grave. You said that if even one person doesn't believe, a miracle won't occur. But real miracles happen whether people believe in them or not. But real miracles happen whether people believe in them or not. Even if I alone don't believe. So any miracles or magic or witches that exist only because I believe in them are downright lies. I don't know, man. The uneasy mood following Bador's ignorant man was blown away by a very soft and light laugh. Whose laugh? Bador was surprised. He had never heard that voice before. When he looked at George and Jessica, at Shannon and Kana and Maria, he noticed that they had suddenly gone respectfully silent. Was I forced into this bad ending because I did not know? Oh, hello. Look at that dress. Beatrice. How amusing. I haven't messaged a charming human for quite some time. So this is where you see her. Who are you? Don't you even know the host of the tea party you were invited to? How amusing indeed. Oh, look at her. This is Beatrice-sama, the golden witch who has lived for 1,000 years. It is an honor to be graced with your presence, Beatrice-sama. Please forgive Battle Raccoon's ranting. This guy's just stubborn, and he still doesn't understand the situation he's in. What a treat this is. Most witches get tired of living after the first 1,000 years. How nice it is to meet a man with backbone such as yourself every once in a while. It is quite an honor to be present when Beatrice shows herself, Battler. How astonishing. Are you really that desperate to make me believe that a 19th person is the culprit? This is starting to get interesting. And it's all useless. You must be the illusion that Maria and the others call the witch Beatrice. And you'll only be allowed to exist if everyone believes it. You have that kind of a half-existence, right? That's what you want to make me believe too. You can't exist because I alone don't believe in you. Isn't that right? Your powers of comprehension aren't bad for a mere commoner who knows nothing of magic. Yes, it seems you were born with a strong magic-resisting power. You were a natural enemy of us witches. No matter how much we turn your world upside down, you never believe in us. Therefore, the magic won't succeed. I accept that attitude of yours. I've got no clue what you're saying. It's very kind of you to go to all the trouble of showing yourself to us, but I don't believe you exist in the slightest. Is it true? It's true that many strange things happened during those 2 days. Like Maria said earlier, even though I think all the tricks can be explained, I still can't lay out the practical details of each one. However, that doesn't mean I'll surrender. I'm different from the rest of them. Got it? I'll never accept that it was the work of a witch just because I can't explain it. This keeps getting more amusing. Making you surrender will be worth my while. You're just the kind of man I'd like to force into praising my name. I'd love to try making a man like you kiss my toes. Alright. If you want to talk nonsense, talk all you want. I deny you exist. I'll explain all these events with humans and tricks. There's no room for even a speck of magic for witches. Wonderful. What a perfect way to divert oneself from 1,000 years of boredom. Then let me ask you. A short while ago, you said that using the crack in the door would be sufficient to kill Eva and Hideyoshi, right? Explain how they could have been killed using some human trick. Suddenly jumping right into the toughest part, are you? Does that mean this is the trick you're proudest of? Miss Real Culprit? Oh, they just got evaporated. With a shake of her golden pipe, gentle multicolored smoke trailed out of the end. The smoke quickly obscured their surroundings, and they were suddenly in a hallway of the mansion. Oh, so now she's gonna explain everything. Okay. That looks like this is happening. The door in front of them is slightly open but secured by the chain. That's right, it's the door to the room where Eva and Hideyoshi were killed. Nice trick. Very well. Show me what you would do through this small crack battle. They probably had some device to shoot those ice picks. If they used that, how would they reach Eva over on the bed when you can't see that far through this crack? And how would they reach Hideyoshi in the bathroom with the door shut? There's a crack. There should be some way. If you can't think of one, allow me. Oh, how would a witch do it? Come on, let's see your little trick. Edward, you're being rude to Beatrice. How nice. How nice. What a charming man. That would make it, that will make it even more fun to force him into submission. You really want to make me kiss your toes that much? Only if I surrender. But watch. I'll definitely expose this trick, and then I'll make you kiss that. Oh my goodness. What a delightful man. I'll remember that promise. Weak witches kiss the behind of demons to gain power. Because there's no more humiliating oath. Just being told that makes me want to force you into surrender. Paying no mind about it was worthless ranting. Beatrice once again shook the golden pipe. That's right, the golden pipe was a precious magic cane. Come, arise, children. I'm the guide of Purgatorio. Oh, forget the deadly sins and hold the 7 stakes. Guided by those magic words, which sounded like a command, 7 stakes mattered. They were the stakes of the 7 demons, symbolizing the deadly sins of sinful people. Beelzebub and Asmodeus, alright. Come, forgive the sins. Release the spirits of the sinners. What? The pics of Beelzebub and Asmodeus respond to Beatrice's call. I've heard of both of those. The toothpicks of the demons were sucked in through the crack of the door, like billiard balls struck by a cue stick. Then several scattered noises refracted through the ball, making a sound like a woodpecker. I don't remember what Asmodeus is. Beatrice is like a fly. And at the end, a pleasant sound could be heard. Okay. It was a small, satisfying sound, like the one heard when someone is chopping firewood into falling axe neatly and easily slices through the wood. It was the sound of the 2 pigs burying themselves deep into Eva's and Hideyoshi's foreheads. Right down the middle. Want to see? They definitely heard 2 sounds like a pair of foreheads being split open. Battler wasn't permitted to see it, since he was on the other side of the door. But those 2 had died again, and the second time, they lay not an inch apart from where they had lain the last time, with the exact same blood sprays before. You moron. That's insane. You think you can just kill them like that? I can kill them. I can kill them just like this. Suddenly, they were no longer in the hall, but seated at the tea party they had started from. Blood. Everyone but Battler was sitting meekly, but Kanan was moaning, fresh blood dangling from his mouth. What a rude thing to do at a tea party. Satan's stake was buried deep into Kanan's chest. Ugh. Ah! Kanan-kun! Kanan-kun! Dang it. Batterer was the only one getting agitated. Yeah. George, Jessica, Shannon, and everyone else was meekly hanging their heads like students being yelled at by their teacher. Kanan was captivated by a trifling anger and tried to disturb my banquet. Being easily captivated by anger is your deadly sin. Cleanse yourself, repent, and do it over. Beatrice-sama. Beatrice-sama. Please, forgive me. I think Kanan-kun has repented enough. Wonderful. I'm generous to those who respect me. Don't screw with me. Do you think I'll accept your existence because of this cheap act? Like heck, you are a 1,000-year-old witch. Your tricks aren't 1,000 years old. They're just the sum of a century of classic tricks from the mystery genre. There's no such thing as magic. Definitely not. All of the crimes can be explained with humans and tricks. You would explain my 1,000 years with 100 years of humans? Good, good. This is precisely why I've taken a liking to you. Foolish battle. Cut it out, battler. You can't go against the witch. Oh, shoot. Oh, alright, man. Shane started moaning, holding her cheek. Maybe she had a toothache. Apparently, it wasn't a toothache at all. A slight redness spread across the cheek Shannon was holding. It looked like that redness was causing Shannon unbearable pain. Her fingers were pressing in against her cheek, and drops of sweat appeared all over her body. Shannon! Shannon! Hang in there! Hang in there! What's going on? Dang it, what in the world is that red stuff? What even? It expanded rapidly, covering half of Shannon's face. Then, the stupid dunce battler finally realized. Please, battler, please believe in Beatrice. I beg you. Because you won't believe. Because you won't believe. The magic is dissolving. For the first time in his life, Battler heard that sound like a pomegranate stone. The red spray even landed on Battler's face. Poor Shannon's face had been split in half, and her last horrible moments in that storehouse were repeated once again. Ah! Shannon! Shannon! Ah! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Don't humiliate the dead! Don't humiliate the dead! This time the redness spread across George's entire body. It was like the beautiful cloud drawn by milk when it's poured into black tea. It spread out and extended across his entire body. As it did, it seemed to give George increasingly greater pain. Looking at this bizarre spectacle, Battler was petrified as he frantically thought with his pitiful, clumsy imagination about the nature of the strange death George and the rest were experiencing. Eventually, that redness reached the nearby Jessica as well. Oh no! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! What did Aniki do? What did Jessica do? Just stop it! Battler, don't let the witch break your spirit. Deny her. Erase her. As long as at least one person denies her, she's an illusion that can't exist. Are you okay, Jessica? What, Aniki? George was no longer recognizable as a human. He looked like a pile of leftover meat after the good, delicious meat has been scrapped off to be cooked. The only thing that even resembled a human was the shape of his lower jaw and ribcage. And it was clear that Jessica, who was covered with a steadily strengthening redness, was approaching the same fate. Quickly, leave me, Beatrice. If you don't, everyone's magic will dissolve. Maria, it's all over your body, too. I revive all the dead with my magic, but as long as you don't believe, that magic will hold no true power. But I'm sure that a man like yourself won't surrender to something like this, right? Battler, we didn't want to doubt our friends. We refused to face reality and gave in to the witch. But Battler, you won't give in to the witch. Jessica! Jessica! Wait, Jessica! Jessica! What is happening? Poor Jessica went the same end. Just like George, she ended up like a butcher's leftovers. George and Jessica were now so destroyed, melted, and mixed up, it was impossible to tell them apart. Battery! Don't cry. Beatrice will restore the dead over and over, so there's nothing to be sad about. So even if we die, we're still just fine. The redness began eating into the whole of Maria's body. The foolish battler watched and screamed. I won't forgive you. I'll never forgive you. System. Oh my goodness, missing. Okay, it still shows the same for that. And now you can see these two. The people who just died. This person. Yeah. Ice pick. So many ice picks. Yeah, I saw that too. Man, it just got destroyed. And then the last one is Genji, right here. You can... Right there. Yeah. As a 6-5, he was the first. Missing. Bruh. Missing. Even though everyone was getting so along so well after being reunited in the Golden Line, all the magic came to nothing because of a certain target who afterwards was even shoot him to the boat and he went down. That is... Even though she was given a precious invitation to the Golden Line, the single fool refused to believe in the witch, and all the magic disappeared. She was then chewed to bits by demons and went to hell. Yeah. And then this one just says, what's with that laugh, dude? Oh no, he got destroyed too. I guess that's supposed to happen here. I'll read it right now anyway. This school made the world where everyone could be happy, all come from nothing. Though Beatrice was extremely angry, she also seemed to be enjoying herself immensely. It's almost as though she waited 1,000 years to get her hands on a toy as fun as this one. Hopefully, even this fool will be able to see you before too long. I won't forgive you. I'll never forgive you. A witch? Magic? I'll risk my body. I'll risk my body and soul to deny you. No matter what happens, I can't accept you. Now that you've gone so far to annoy me, I'll never forgive you. I won't forgive. I won't forgive. I definitely won't forgive you. You'll regret making me, Bashir, my battler, your enemy. I'll deny you no matter what. No matter how baffling things get, it can all be explained by humans. I'll erase every cell of you from this world. Well said. Battler, was it? That's just the thing to divert me from my 1,000 years of boredom. Just the thing. Come, explain. Try explaining it all with humans and tricks. And learn how lowly humans are. Let's see if what humanity has built up in 100 years can oppose my 1,000 years. That's what will make forcing you to submit so pleasant. So tell me, you who call yourself battler, what about Maria's letter? How the 6 were killed, the shutter, the receipt seal, the closed room with the chain, Kanan in the boiler room, Genji and the others in the lounge, Natsui's suicide, the riddle of the epitaph, I forgot to read her by the way, the location of the hidden gold. Yes, battler, I might as well. Yeah. What does that look like? Just a little shot? Found God to death, he's done the witch part. How imputing of her to challenge a witch was nothing but a mere gun. Of course she becomes like this. Yeah. Rip! No, don't return the title. Excellent. Okay. Yes, battler. Why don't you show me the power of humans? And then that's all the stuff. Oh man. Oh. A lot to take in. I don't even know what to say. Eat a little food. So that's the end now. I just don't know where to go from here. He wouldn't believe. Why didn't you? Everyone died now. It's all fine in the real world, but this is a fictional story. So I was comparing it to something before. The whole mansion murder mystery thing, it kind of reminds me of a novel, a book called And Then There Were None. That's the name of it. I said And Then There Were Fewer. That's a Family Guy episode. But it's called And Then There Were None. Goodness. And Then There Were None. I read that a long time ago, and it was pretty good. I wonder if that was inspired. If that inspired this in some way. Definitely feels like it reminds me of that, at least a little bit. I guess that's all what's happened so far. See where to go from here. Just gotta wait it out. More elements. Addition. Another title screen thing. Where is this going? Alright, well, the episode's gotten long enough, so I don't know if I should do another thing. I guess that was interesting. So we're gonna look at the next one, which is called just a bunch of question marks. For those who are not here. Yeah, we'll do that next episode. Bye bye.